Whenever the conversation turns to the greatest strikers the Premier League has ever seen, two names inevitably dominate the debate. Thierry Henry, Didier Drogba. They were more than just goal scorers. Talismans, icons who defined an era for their respective London clubs. Henry, the graceful, lightning-fast artist for Arsenal. Drogba, the powerful, indomitable warrior for Chelsea. For years, they were the undisputed kings of their domains, the players that opposition defenders would have sleepless nights about. Each brought a completely different flavour to the art of forward play, but the end result was often the same. The ball, nestled in the back of the net. Henry joined Arsenal in 1999, a winger with unfulfilled potential, and was transformed by Arsene Wenger into the most feared forward in the world. He made the difficult look ridiculously easy. Drogba arrived at Stamford Bridge in 2004 as a key part of Jose Mourinho's revolution. He wasn't there to be elegant, to bully defences, to fight, to win at all costs. Their rivalry wasn't just personal, it was the embodiment of the stylistic and philosophical battle between Arsenal's free-flowing football and Chelsea's pragmatic, powerful approach. The debate over who was better has raged in pubs, parks and television studios for the best part of 2 decades. Do you prefer the sublime skill, the balletic grace, the sheer volume of goals that Henry provided? Or do you lean towards the brute force, the incredible mental strength, the uncanny knack for scoring the most important goals on the biggest stages that was Drogba's trademark? It's a fascinating comparison because there's no easy answer. Both were, in their own unique ways, absolutely magnificent. Ultimately, to understand their greatness, you have to look beyond the basic numbers. You have to remember the moments. This isn't just a comparison of two players, it's a celebration of two genuine legends of the sport. When you get down to the brass tacks, the statistics tell a compelling story, though one with different chapters for each player. In the Premier League, Thierry Henry's goal-scoring record is simply breathtaking. He played 258 games for Arsenal and scored a remarkable 175 goals. That's a goal every 1.47 games. He wasn't just a scorer, he was a creator too. 74 assists. That level of dual-threat productivity is what made him so complete. He didn't just finish moves, he was often the one who started them. Didier Drogba's figures spread across 2 spells at Chelsea paint a slightly different picture. In 254 Premier League appearances, he scored 104 goals. While that's a very respectable return, it's not on the same stratospheric level as the Frenchman's. He also provided 55 assists, highlighting his ability to contribute to the team's overall play. Drogba's game was never purely about volume. His impact was often measured in the weight and timing of his goals. He was the man for the big occasion. Then you have the silverware, the ultimate measure of success for any team. Here the narrative shifts firmly in Drogba's favour. During his time at Chelsea, he was instrumental in winning 4 Premier League titles. He also collected a staggering 4 FA Cups and 3 League Cups. Henry, for all his individual brilliance, won 2 Premier League titles with Arsenal. He was the star of the legendary Invincibles season in 2003-04. He also lifted 2 FA Cups. While the Invincibles season is a unique and historic achievement, Drogba's trophy cabinet from his time in England is undeniably heavier. So, what do the numbers tell us? They tell us that Henry was the more prolific and consistent goalscorer and creator over the long haul of a league season. His individual output was, week in and week out, on another level. However, they also tell us that Drogba was a serial winner, a player whose career at Chelsea coincided with an era of unprecedented domestic dominance. He was the focal point of a team built to win trophies, and they did so relentlessly. The statistics frame the debate perfectly. Henry's individual mastery versus Drogba's collection of team honours. Watching Thierry Henry in his prime was like watching a master painter at work. His style was built on a foundation of elegance, speed and intelligence. He had this unique way of gliding across the pitch, seemingly floating past defenders with effortless grace. His signature move, cutting in from the left wing onto his right foot, then curling the ball into the far corner, was a work of art. It was so predictable, yet so utterly unstoppable. He combined the blistering pace of a sprinter with the delicate touch of a midfield playmaker. Henry didn't just beat defenders, he embarrassed them, leaving them tangled in knots with a shimmy or a sudden burst of acceleration. Didier Drogba was the polar opposite. If Henry was a rapier, Drogba was a sledgehammer. His game was built on raw physical power, aerial dominance, and an unbreakable will to win. He was a nightmare for centre-backs, a player you simply couldn't outmuscle. He used his body brilliantly, holding up the ball to bring teammates into play, creating chaos in the penalty box. He wasn't just about brute strength, though. His movement was clever and his finishing was often devastatingly effective. A thunderous strike from distance or a poacher's finish from close range. The way they received the ball tells you everything you need to know about their differences. Henry wanted the ball played into space ahead of him, where he could open up his legs and engage defenders in a foot race. He would almost always win. He thrived on the counter-attack, turning a defensive situation into a goal-scoring opportunity in a matter of seconds. His intelligence was in finding those pockets of space, anticipating the pass and executing the finish with ice-cool composure. He was the spearhead of Arsenal's fluid, one-touch football. Drogba, in contrast, wanted the ball played to his feet, to his chest, or into the air where he could challenge for it. He invited physical contact, using his strength to shield the ball, holding off 2 or 3 defenders at a time. This allowed Chelsea's midfielders, like Frank Lampard, to make runs from deep, knowing Drogba would win his battle and find them. He was the ultimate outball for his team, a reliable target who could turn a hopeful long pass into a dangerous attack. His style was less about aesthetics and more about effectiveness. He was a problem that defenses simply could not solve through conventional means. When the pressure was at its highest and the stakes were enormous, both of these strikers had a habit of stepping up. They were what you call big game players. However, they earned this reputation in slightly different ways. Thierry Henry's big moments were often defined by acts of individual genius against top-tier opposition in the league. Think of his incredible solo goal against Liverpool. He picked up the ball near the halfway line and slalomed through their entire defence. Or his stunning volley against Manchester United. These were moments of magic that decided massive games and kept Arsenal in title races. Didier Drogba, however, built his legacy on his performances in cup finals. The man was simply unstoppable when a trophy was on the line. He scored in 4 different FA Cup finals, winning all 4 for Chelsea. He scored in League Cup finals. His most iconic moment, of course, came in the 2012 Champions League final against Bayern Munich. With Chelsea trailing 1-0 in the 88th minute, he rose to power home an incredible header to force extra time. He then stepped up to score the winning penalty in the shootout, single-handedly dragging his team to the greatest prize in European club football. It's a record that is almost unbelievable. The argument often made is that while Henry was the master of the 38-game season, Drogba was the master of the one-off, must-win knockout match. There is certainly truth to this. Henry's consistency ensured Arsenal were always competing at the highest level. His goals against rivals were crucial league points. He was the engine of their sustained excellence. But in those do-or-die moments where one goal changes everything, Drogba's mental fortitude and sheer force of will seemed to give him an edge. He thrived on the pressure, seeming to grow stronger when his team needed him most. He was the ultimate clutch player. It's also worth noting how they performed against each other's teams. Henry had a fantastic record against Chelsea, scoring 10 goals over the years. Drogba, famously, was a thorn in Arsenal's side, scoring 13 goals against them in just 15 appearances. He seemed to relish the physical battle against Arsenal's defenders. This head-to-head record is a perfect micro-summary of the wider debate. Henry was brilliant against almost everyone, while Drogba had a special talent for identifying a key opponent and dominating them time and time again, especially when it mattered. So, we come to the final impossible question. Who was better? It's a debate that could go on forever because the answer depends entirely on your perspective. In terms of individual awards and records, Henry stands almost peerless in the Premier League era. He won the Golden Boot a record 4 times. He was twice named the PFA Players' Player of the Year. For a period of about 5 years, he was not just the best striker in England, but arguably the best player on the planet. His legacy is one of technical perfection, of elevating goal scoring to an art form, and of leading the unforgettable Invincibles. Didier Drogba's legacy is defined by something different. It's defined by trophies and by an unbreakable bond with the Chelsea faithful. He was voted by the fans as the club's greatest ever player, a title that speaks volumes about his importance. He may not have the individual accolades of Henry, but he has the medals. His impact was about more than just goals. It was about leadership, heart, and a warrior spirit that inspired everyone around him. He was the emotional and physical spearhead of the most successful period in Chelsea's entire history. His legacy is one of a winner, a man who delivered glory. If you were building a team and needed a striker to win you the league, providing consistent brilliance over a 38-game season, you would have to choose Thierry Henry. His goal output was simply on another level. His assist output was simply on another level. He gave you a guarantee of goals, week in, week out, and possessed a unique ability to win a game on his own with a moment of magic. His sustained excellence and higher peak of individual performance make him, for many, the more complete and superior forward. However, if you had one single game to win, a cup final with everything on the line, who would you want leading your attack? For me and for many others, that answer has to be Didier Drogba. His record in finals is not a coincidence. It's a reflection of his incredible mentality and his ability to rise to the occasion. He was the ultimate big-game player. In the end, comparing them is a celebration of two different types of greatness. Henry was the better player, the more talented and consistent footballer. But Drogba was the ultimate winner. Both are true legends, and the Premier League was incredibly lucky to have them.